Hey there guys, explanation today on why I have certain anti-emoticons on my channel, specifically anti-Ezreal, anti-Lee Sin, and anti-Janna. Before we go into that, let me just say that in lower brackets of play, it really doesn't matter what you play as long as you play it well, right? I have just had a history on my stream of having unfortunate games with certain champions, and it's sort of an inside joke on my stream why I dodged these three champions. We'll get started with Ezreal. So why don't I like Ezreal? We'll start off with why Ezreal's actually sometimes pretty decent. The pros for Ezreal, he has a really strong level 2 all-in, pretty decent mobility overall, and he has a global ultimate, so you can get those snipes across the map and stuff like that. But what are the cons of Ezreal, and why have I had bad experiences with Ezreals in the past on my stream? Well, the first one, the biggest one, is right now Ezreal is heavily outscaled by Tristana, Kog'Maw, even Lucian, Draven, a lot, Jinx. Most AD carries actually outscale Ezreal late game. And right now it is mostly centered around late game, especially AD carries. AD carries, inevitably it will reach late game in most games. Having a stronger AD carry late game will give you a huge advantage over the enemy team. The second point, a lot of skill shots on Ezreal. The difference between a good Ezreal and a bad Ezreal is actually pretty dramatic. And even a good Ezreal can have a bad day and be much less effective than a AD carry that has 0 skill shots, aka Tristana. And the third point, which is really has nothing to do with anything skill-wise on Ezreal, I just feel like Ezreal has an annoying voice, and that's why I also don't like playing with Ezreals. It's just like, it's just annoying. And doesn't he look kind of like Naruto? I don't know. Something about Ezreal, it's just like, it reminds me of Naruto. No offense to that. It's just like, eh. Lee Sin. Now this one, I feel like there's a bigger difference between just an okay Lee Sin and a great Lee Sin. The cons, we'll start with the cons this time instead of the pros. Lee Sin falls off very, very hard and has a huge skill cap. There's a lot of room for error with Lee Sin. You try to insect someone, you accidentally kick their AD carry out of the team fight. Whoops, now they're going to get free DPS off. The pros for Lee Sin, however, it's pretty easy to get fed on Lee Sin early game, right? He's got a lot of damage. He's pretty strong at ganking. It's very common to get like a lot of kills early game on Lee Sin. However, because he falls off so hard, if you take a lot of kills early game as like a jungle Lee Sin, you'll find yourself unable to finish that game through. But you can still win a lot of games with Lee Sin. It's no offense to the great Lee Sin players out there that carry a lot of games. It's just I've had a lot of bad experiences with Lee Sin. Hopefully this video will play. I found this to be a pretty funny video. I'm gonna skip to midway through since we don't have all the time. I found this video just kind of, it just gave me a chuckle because it was just a Halo game that Scar played a while back. This just shows that even if you're a great player in Halo, like I think Scar he's played very well in a lot of high elo games. Just because you're a high elo player doesn't mean you're going to be great on Lee Sin. And I don't know. I feel like a lot of players in high elo just kind of pick Lee Sin because they're like, oh, this champion's can do some fancy stuff. But this is just Scar having a bad game on Lee Sin. But I thought it was really hilarious. It was a video done by Pansar Dragon a long time ago. I mean, it happens. It happens. It's like the difference between like being like a pretty good Lee Sin and being like, you know, oops, I didn't mean to make that play. It's just, you know, it happens sometimes. You accidentally kick them away because they flash at the moment that you're ulting. There's a lot of room for error with Lee Sin, so I found that when I stream, especially because we've had a lot of unfortunate games with Lee Sins, I just usually dodge a lot of these anti-emoticon champions. And then lastly, Janna. We'll start with the pros on Janna. Janna has great disengage. She's not bad in that department. She can stop a team fight from happening. She scales actually really well late game, and she promotes a very passive play style in a positive way because you die less when you play Janna, right? Janna's not a champion like Thresh or Leona where to use your abilities you have to go in. You have to get into the fray of the fight. Janna, you can stay back, shield people. You're going to die a whole lot less on Janna. And Janna has a very high win rate in a lot of brackets of play because if you die less and you can, you know, give your team utility, you can usually win a lot more games, right? However, there are going to be games that you won't be able to carry with on Janna or effectively do a whole lot of Janna, because the cons, Janna lacks great pick potential. Champions that have similar utility, like Nami, Thresh, they have pick potential. They have way better pick potential than Janna. They have a lot of crowd control that can be used from a range, lock down targets very quickly and easily. Janna is outshined by other supports. I think that Nami is a better all-around version of Janna, in my opinion. Great disengage on Nami, great engage on Nami, great utility, heal, sustain, great lane dominance on something like Nami. I just feel like there is a place in the game for Janna, but I've had such a bad experience on stream with a lot of Janna players that it's just become a reoccurring joke that I dodge Jannas. And lastly, sometimes playing Janna will promote an overly passive playstyle. This can sometimes be the most frustrating part about playing with Janna players, is because, while, you know, dying less is a great aspect of playing Janna, if you want to stay too far back and not like help soak damage and stuff like that in some team fights, it can hurt your team out. It can hurt your team a lot. So that's basically the gist for it, guys. And you can catch my stream at twitch.tv/Valkrin. We'll be streaming again tonight, guys. Shoulder Cat, got a lot of cool stuff coming your way. Hopefully you guys weren't too offended by this video. I know these champions are popular in some brackets of play, but this is just hopefully a general explanation for why I have these anti-emoticons. I don't care if you guys play it in all brackets of play. You can play these champions well and win a lot of games. It's just, I personally don't like playing with them, but that's just me. See you guys on my stream.